Yo, welcome back to the channel. We have special guests today, Brosridebikes. Welcome, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Jack and Eli. If you guys aren't following them, I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to leave a link in the description. They have an amazing YouTube channel. They are the future of crit racing and road racing in the United States. But today we're talking about crit racing. This is junior nationals, right?
Yep, 15, 16, junior
15,
national.
16. And you guys remember, Eli had his footage on this channel a couple years ago as a 13-year-old, and I made some funny title, Watch This 13-Year-Old Destroy the Competition or something like that. Probably a similar title to this video that you already clicked on. So what do you guys think? We dive into some footage?
Let's do it.
For sure.
Okay, so this is Downer Avenue. Is it Downer Avenue, Crit?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Second day of Toad, but we race our crit nationals on Downer Ave, so that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, because I raced this course also. The video will land on the channel. This was the first ACC race of Toad, and it was a big day. We had like 180 riders. So I know this course very well. But you guys raced it earlier in the day, and this was the backdrop for 15 to 16 Junior National Crit Championships. We're on board with Eli, who you got to be a dead-on favorite for this race, being the former Junior National Champion. Is that right?
Yeah, 2 years ago in the 13-14.
Yeah, he won 2 years ago. He got third last year. Got a second place call up this year, so definitely one of the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And you know these riders because you do the nationals circuit with them a lot. You probably race a lot with these guys. Do you know who the competition is in this field as you guys line up here?
Yeah, all these juniors race like all the junior races throughout the year, especially earlier in the year, so like Voss and all those races.
So that's important because, you know, when you come out to these big national level races, this isn't our racing district. You guys are SoCal. I'm San Luis Obispo. It depends on who you ask. I'm either NorCal or SoCal, but we're both California locals. And I know our racing districts in California. I know the riders. I know what they're capable of. But sometimes when you come out to these national level events, you just don't know who the riders to look out for are. But because you guys have been racing together a lot in this field, and also there's some notable jerseys we're going to pick out, you kind of know what to follow, what not to follow. And with that said, what's the strategy? We know you're a field sprinter. You can make like 1,400 watts, maybe even more now that you're a bit older. Are you just going to sit around and wait for a field sprint?
Honestly, kind of, but I wanted to definitely look towards the breakaway as well, just to see if anybody wanted to roll, or if not, then try and dice it out in field sprint.
And like I've said before, I'm a field sprinter also, and you know, given a choice, I'd rather sprint from a breakaway than a field because it's just easier, right? It's just a numbers game. 1 versus 5 is way easier than 1 versus 65 or however many people are in this field. So with that said, I think that you handled this wonderfully. I mean, you have the fitness and the legs to back it up, but it's not just that. You go one step further. You're looking at the composition of each of these moves. And for example, this one right here, you're looking at this EF development rider roll off the front. This looks really threatening. You're going to chase this one back, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was right after the hairpin, so I was like, if nobody else is gonna chase, then it's up to me because like I'm trying to win the race and I can't let anybody go off the front without me. Yeah, and that's mainly just the plan for that one.
You'd be the best sprinter in the world, but if you're not in the lead group, doesn't matter if you can make 3,000 watts, you're not winning the bike race. So this was a smart move to chase back. But not only were you chasing these moves back on occasion, you were also launching some efforts for yourself. And like I've said, you know, the best defense is a good offense. I almost messed that up, Eli. The best defense is a good offense. And so you're sending some attacks. What's the idea here? You're keeping it fast, right?
Yeah, I definitely didn't want it to be like a standoff the whole half the race, but I definitely threw down some tacks to keep the pressure on, to make guys chase, and yeah, just to see who has good legs and who's riding smart.
Right, and I think the idea too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when things slow down in a bike race, could be a road race, could be a criterium. When things slow down, attacks are more likely because what defines an effective attack is a delta in speed, a difference in speed. If the field's going 20 miles an hour, actually, let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say the field's going 15 miles an hour. If you launch an attack at 30 miles an hour, you're going twice as fast. It's much more difficult to chase that back, that delta in speed. So you're trying to keep things fast and trying to slow down these counterattacks because obviously your main goal is to keep things together for a field sprint. And with that said, let's actually fast forward because there's a key moment here about halfway through the race. Okay, here we are, and forgive the GoPro footage. The thing was breaking off its mount, hanging on by a thread here. But Eli, you are chasing stuff back. It looks like there's like 4 or 5 riders off the front right now. We're coming into the final corner. Oh, no, sorry. This is corner 2. This is the most consequential corner of Downer. You take it first, preserve your speed, and now you're doing big boy sprint numbers. What's the motivation here?
Yeah, so there's there's like a good amount of people up there that I'm like, yeah, these guys can roll. And if they come together as a team and like as just like friends and just start rolling, then they could be gone. So I definitely wanted to be a part of that. Or if they do, or if not, then bring it back. But I also didn't really want to take anybody with me, so that's why I dropped part of it out.
200 beats per minute, and you make it across, and you did exactly what you set out. Look, you've dropped everybody. I love that you came through corner number 2 first. That's the most difficult corner on this course, and if you can preserve all of your speed through that, it makes such a big difference for that longest straightaway, the hypotenuse on our Dorito course shape in the bottom right. But now you've made it to this front group, and who's up there? This guy in the rear camera right now on the orange bike is somebody special. Tell me about Kazan.
Yeah, so Kazan, he's a really strong time trialist. He ends up winning the time trial the next day by like 40 seconds, like just like demolishes the field. And I know from past races throughout the year that he can roll a time trial if he likes those longer efforts. So I definitely wanted to be up there with him.
So if there's anybody to be in a breakaway with, it's the time trial national champion, and he is going to just smash. This is a great wheel to be on. And the GoPro is just hanging on here. I think, oh, yep, there it goes. So unfortunately, we don't have front GoPro footage, but shout out to this good Samaritan for picking it up and returning it to you, because without him, then we wouldn't have any of this footage. But now we're looking at rear camera, and we also have some cool sideline footage that we've been showing. There is a rider who bridges across. This smaller guy, Cormac, also a very powerful rider. You know both these guys from the national racing you've done, but not only he's strong, he's got a bunch of teammates behind. That's pretty important too. Tell us why.
Yeah, because they know that he is, just a fast and strong rider that they'll like get on the front to hold or to make some commotion in the field and let us roll pretty hard and up in the breakaway.
Yeah, and these guys, they don't want to tow you to the line, but you start working immediately, which shows them like you're committed to rolling, and immediately everyone starts working. So like no one's sitting up, and the group behind is chasing. You know, kind of sat at like 6 seconds for a while, but then they kind of just gave up, and the gap went out to like 20 plus seconds.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm watching this whole thing on the live stream, Jack, that you put up on Instagram, and I was shouting at my phone. The whole team was in our team house. We were shouting at the phone. This was so fun to see. But I like what you said. Like, it's really important, and I've said this before on the channel, but it's worth repeating. Even if you're a sprinter, nobody likes a lazy sprinter in a breakaway. I mean, you immediately, Eli, got to the front and like, look, I'm committed to this. I'm going to ride. And I'm going to, because this is a great scenario for you, right? You have the time trial national champion, and you have a rider with a bunch of teammates behind in the field who are not going to be chasing their teammate. So you're committed to making this thing work, and you're showing your brake mates that that's exactly what you're doing. And kudos to like having like a really measured effort here without having your head unit, because when the GoPro fell off, so did the head unit, and you just had to throw it in your pocket, right?
Yeah, it was definitely like it flew off right before we made the breakaway. And then I was just trying to ride off field, keep the efforts preserved, but still like keep the speed up. So I was really trying to make good power, but not go too deep.
He's experienced, ladies and gentlemen. He knows exactly what 300 watts feels like. And I know that newer riders that I've coached, it's hard for them to know what that feels like, especially in the heat of the moment. You're in a breakaway at nationals, and it's really easy to blow yourself up. So good on you for not doing that. But you guys just fall into rotation. Man, this looks so good for you. But all good things must come to an end. Let's fast forward a little bit. All right, we are approaching 3 laps to go. We're about 3 kilometers left in this race. And who wants to bring a sprinter to the line? Nobody does. So these guys are going to try to get real clever and get rid of you. And you must be aware of this fact. Like, this is going to happen eventually, right?
Yeah, and I was trying to honestly hold out as long as possible. I definitely was taking time on the front, but then they just attack, and I'm forced to chase, obviously. So I knew I had to be right on it.
You have to chase everything back, especially when it's coming from the likes of Kazan, who has the horses to hold a 3-kilometer attack at a very high rate of speed all the way to the finish. But what they don't have, Eli, is the pop, that sprinter fast twitch muscle fiber that you have. And that's our secret weapon, right? Like, that allows you to get right into the draft really quickly. So as long as you're able to get right into the draft really quickly, he could be off the front doing all the watts. He could be up there doing 450 watts, but you're benefiting from the all-important draft, which equates to, a 30-40% savings in some case. So you're able to get back on that one, but the work isn't done, right? Like, they're going to keep trying. That's what I would do if I was up against a sprinter as a non-sprinter. So what are you thinking in this moment? Obviously, keep it together for 200 meters, but you're going to take speed through this corner. Are you looking back? Are you aware of the gap behind? Like, what's going through your mind in this moment?
Yeah, so I am aware of the gap. It was sitting at around like, what would you say, like 10 seconds. And I knew that a few teams did miss it. Team California, EF, Hot Tubes, they all missed it. So I knew that they were going to roll hard to try and catch us. So that's why I got on the front and started like keeping the speed up, but still trying to recover.
But then Cormac sent one. Yeah, right. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, again, it's up to me to close the gap. He put in a hard dig, and yeah, he flicked me through, so I'm back on the front again, trying to keep the pace rolling, but still recovering.
Yeah, and Jeff, if you're in this position, one of the best sprinters in a break, 3 to go or 2 to go, and the group's gone at this point. They've completely given up, and these guys are attacking you. What are you going to do? Are you going to quit working or keep pulling through?
I think it depends on the gap. You brought up a good point. It depends on the gap behind to the chasers, because what complicates things is if there's only 5 seconds. But assuming that they've all sat up and it's among you 3 in the break, I am not doing any work on the front, because at this point, the rotations are over. They're trying to get away from you. It's a game. They're trying to get away from you. You're trying not to let them get away. So you're saving as much energy as possible, and you're saving that snappiness in your legs in order to do exactly what you're doing right here, which is get in the draft, like we said, as quickly as possible so they can't motor away. What these guys want is hesitation, right? Kazan just sent an attack. Let's say he gets 2 or 3 bike lengths. He looks back, he realizes he has 2 or 3 bike lengths. His special sauce is he can just go 34 miles an hour to the finish from this point. Okay, so while I've been talking, we have this massive counterattack being launched by Cormac on your left-hand side, camera right. And tell us what's going on in front of the camera right now.
Yeah, so he had been rolling after a few attacks, and Cormac attacked, and Kazan tried to hop on his wheel, but the gap was kind of floating. He had a few bike lengths, and Kazan couldn't get there. So I ended up having to sprint around him, close the gap, and we're going pretty fast.
Yeah, one more 1,000-watt effort, but can't lose the race with 300 meters to go. And do you get onto Cormac's wheel here?
Yeah, I ended up getting on there right in the turn, and eventually I just sit on his wheel for as long as possible. I know he was going pretty hard, so I just needed to kick around him at the last moment.
Oh, dude, the dream situation. Basically, the lead at the late race attack turns into a lead out for you, Eli, and you timed it to perfection. Dude, national champion, 2-time national champion, Eli. How does it feel, my guy?
Man, it was just amazing to cross the line first, and to race overall, it was awesome.
Gets the job done. Let's go. You can see this is our coach in the rear cam. So excited.
Yeah, we were screaming at our phones watching the live stream from our host. There's your coach going crazy too. And if you guys had any doubts, Jack and Eli Watson, mark my words, they are the future of American cycling. They are the real deal. Check out their YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description. Thanks again, guys, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.